Study Box.
Hello, welcome to eStudyBox. eStudyBox is the digital educational platform of Near East University, and we are happy to facilitate tourism and smarter cities new challenges 2023. Sustainability transforming and managing our urban space has many benefits, from promoting tourism to providing jobs for both skilled and unskilled workers. In this webinar, we would like to bring our focus to improving and managing public transport, creating green spaces, flexible societies, and affordable housing, involving public and private partnership for sustainable growth. Ms. Maya Suyunjelieva. I shall repeat that. Welcome, Ms. Maya Suyunjelieva. Ms. Maya is the founder of Youth and Social Project, Tourism and Smarter Cities, member of Friends for Leadership. She's a PhD scholar and winner of the U.S. Government Leadership Program, coordinator of the Africa-Asia Intercontinental Dialogue at the UN in Almaty. She's also winner of the Academy of Youth Leadership in Central Asia, a grant supported by USAID and Eurasia Foundation in Central Asia. She is leading specialist and coordinator for Green Campus at the Kazakh National Agrarian Research University. She was a part of the project Modernization of the Digital Content and Tourism Sector in the Republic of Kazakhstan, mobile applications, panoramic 3D tours, interactive maps, and QR codes. She has written more than 30 articles in the field of innovation for the education sector and tourism in the Republic of Kazakhstan. Maya is the member of the Young Researchers Alliance in Nazarbayev University since 2019. As part of her PhD research, currently she's researching innovation management in the sphere of tourism in the frameworks of digital economy in the Republic of Kazakhstan. She has worked as a board member of the education and science sector supported by the Kazakhstan government, Almaty City branch of Jazotan Youth Wing in Almaty, from 2019 to 2020. Welcome. Very happy to see you.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Aisha, for the invitation and for these kind of remarks. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And so thanks a lot for the introduction, and I will share and start my presentation now. Okay. So the first one I want to share about that today's topic is smart cities and sustainable tourism. I know that, and all of us are knowing that it's a very important topic nowadays when we speak about tourism, when we speak about internationalization and, of course, digital platforms or mobile applications. All of us are using it every day, sitting under their laptops and using mobile phones. So shortly, I want to go to the next slide. It's a little bit information about me, why I just shared and taking this kind of presentation about tourism and smart cities, because now I'm working on my dissertation topic. It's about innovation management in tourism sector, how to develop outbound and inbound tourism in Kazakhstan. And also just a little bit introduction session. When we speak about sustainable tourism, a lot of people who just not a tourist or who just not an expert in this field, they think that tourism is like when you are hiking, when you are visiting a lot of different places. But in some cases, tourism plays the main role in economic sphere. Because when we invite tourists to, for example, to Kazakhstan and to another one countries, the economic position of the country, of course, growing up when there are a lot of amount of tourists there who will spend, and of course, the main factor is to share our cultural and traditional aspects. It's very important to share like multicultural relations between and among a lot of different nationalities and a lot of different countries. So the first, it's about mission statements when we are speaking about the partnerships and about the flexible societies and how we can involve it. The first, that sustainable tourism based on the specific aspects, like making some kind of communities where we can talk about education sphere, about medicine, about environment, and of course about ecology. A lot of people and experts are just using this kind of technology and using this kind of knowledge and sharing it. Of course, they're traveling from one country to another. We see this aspect every day, and not only in real life, but also in online life. So the first one, what is it tourism nowadays? We see that tourism, it's not about like a travel for pleasure or business. When you are traveling, of course, you are visiting like exhibitions, conferences, seminars, and other aspects. And the main role playing on the economic upgrades, and of course, it is a cultural exchange, infrastructure development. And when you are traveling, of course, the main role is playing creating new jobs and new majors for a lot of different young people and of course the professor staff. Uh, when you are traveling, of course, you are finding the new perspectives, the new opportunities, and of course the main role playing is networking. When you are finding out the new contacts, when you are sharing your experience, of course you can find and easily to find out the new place in different country where you are going on. So the next, it's about recognition. It's about when we are talking about sovereignty, about economical integrity, and of course about the revenue. If we can share these kind of aspects, the first, it's I can share like shortly about how nowadays tourism industry is like one of sought after sectors of the economy. And also I can share that GDP of tourism nowadays is like 8.4%. It's like more than 9% of the Kazakhstan workforce is employed in the tourism sector, and mostly in small and medium-sized enterprises. So it's like how we can for this purpose with also like are based on three key pillars and dedicated to free movement of goods. So the first one is about international tourists. The second one is about diversifying the tourism offer, and particular through new transnational tourism opportunities, and it can be equally profitable during the medium and low seasons. And the third one is about investing in talents and training for excellence. So it is the main three factors that we can just use and increase it also in these 3 points. The next, I can, of course, all of you knows what is it, domestic inbound and outbound tourism. Pandemic time just showed us how inbound tourism or domestic tourism just playing the main role in every country. For example, all of us are sitting, of course, at homes, and we can't travel or just we can't go outside. It showed us that we should pay attention on the infrastructure in each region, and also comprises the activities of residents and like showing how we can develop our domestic attractive places, also like visiting not only theaters, museums, or like cinemas, and also we should share about our cultural aspects about museums, theaters, And also, we should show our nature and about our like interesting places, about mountains, about like a cultural aspect of each region. So it's the main role that how we can share these points. And the first one we should speak and share. It's not only speaking on the specific places like on exhibitions or conferences. We should create like online book or online platform where a lot of these representatives from different organizations and also different tourism sector managers can share their experience on this online platform. So during this time, for example, I can share with my own experience that how we just create a lot of online events, and also we've just visit online Africa, for example, or we just visit online Europe and also Eastern Asia. So it speaks when we're just organizing online events. It helps us to understand, and we are, of course, speaking with native experts and people who are living in this region, and also they are sharing their thoughts and their knowledge about how to develop tourism, like tourism exchange programs, and we can share it with each other. And so the next is about why we are speaking about digital tourism. It's a new aspect of our new life, how to say that, because after not maybe 5-6 years, it will be one of the main role and key points that digital platforms will be creating like a one big world. For example, if each country just create their own platform and then after that they can communicate with each other. Of course, now we are sitting online, we are using social media promotion, we're using websites, a lot of tourism opportunities, like for example, we know about who is ambassadors. There are a lot of bloggers and a lot of people who are speaking about tourism and about speaking about their countries. So in this case, I can tell you that there will be that like a big platform where each country can share with their expertise and also with their knowledge of their countries. So in this case, I can tell about the next point, that the factors how we can contribute and how we can develop tourism. It's about protectural natural areas. It's about sustainable development, financing. Of course, it's about government partnerships and planning. So these 5 like points of 1 star is how we can use these kind of factors to create like a sustainable tourism. As I said, that if we can be together and also we can share with our interesting places, each person who will be interested, for example, visiting one country, he will not, if you are going to France, of course, you not visit only La Tour Eiffel, yeah? Of course, you can see a lot of interesting museums, a lot of interesting places that you have never been before. So it's very interesting if you can use this kind of platform to know. It's like it will be like a guide where each country can share with each other, and different citizens can visit and just communicate with each other. And another one plus from it's like an opportunity of digital tourism. It's about when we are speaking about social aspect. Of course, there are a lot of people with disabilities and people who can't travel, for example, or maybe they are poor and haven't got any money for traveling. So it's very important to help in these points to show these places online, and this person can just understand this culture, have the same knowledge as the person who are just visit this in real life. So hope that for the future, the modernization tourism factors will develop and will develop better, and who knows how people will see, and maybe in some cases they will understand and just feel that they are standing, for example, on the top of Everest. So the next I want to say about local communities, that it's very important to develop like volunteer centers in each region. When we just compare is between developed and, of course, maybe not undeveloped, developing countries, there are the main difference that how local communities are working in each region according to the tourism sector. For example, when I've just been in developed country, I noticed this kind of point that there are a lot of positive effects and points for tourists, like guides. Of course, they just notice like a lot of opportunities in infrastructure, like UN or not UN, like volunteering local communities who are just helping you when you just lost in airport, and they are helping you to find the next place. But of course, but it's a minus for developing countries. I live in Kazakhstan and born here. My country is developing, and in some cases, you can see, for example, volunteer centers in the airport, or maybe volunteer centers in the Central Park or our presidential park, and hope that it will be the next step how to develop and pay attention to these local communities, because they will be helpful to develop tourism sector in domestic, how to develop domestic tourism. The next I want to share about the factors that there are. Of course, I just mentioned about educational exchange, ambassadorship, technological developments, and we pay attention on the photos and about photography. Of course, it's the main role when you are just publishing a lot of and writing a lot of posts where just you've been, and when you are sharing it online, of course, it will be helpful information for a lot of, not only for followers, but only for people who are just interested in scientific tourism, also in who are just interested about like visit different interesting places or other things. Ambassadorship, it's like when you are like ambassador of this country or another one region, you will be helpful, like a person with whom is just associated this region or this country. So it is the new like challenge, or how to say, a new point of 22 or 23 years, and this year also it's so popular among tourists. The next, it's about we will speak about smart cities, because smart cities and tourism sector, of course, is just closely connected, and it's very important that how we can define and innovate tourism destination, for example, and how we can be so opening for a lot of different category of people. And of course, smart city is not about infrastructure, because it's a big mistake when we are thinking that smart city is about digitalization, about robotics or something like this, but it's a big mistake. Smart city is the city when you are feeling so comfortable and you can find everything what you need. And of course, I want to speak a little bit that smart city, it's like not about the government. Of course, the key role they are playing on it, but it depends on the local communities. It depends on citizens who are living here in this region or in this city. And so it's very important, and I want to share that all of you knows what happens during this week and previous one, and that there are a lot of people who just died, and it depends on it's it happens in, for example, in Turkey, in Syria. So my condolences for a lot of families who just lost their members and their relatives. Of course, it's a big catastrophe and a big I know how it's like a big disaster for all of us. It happens in some cases. Of course, nobody knows how it will be because it's a nature and it's like a nature effect, and nobody knows what will happen, for example, tomorrow. But in from our side, we shouldn't make these kind of mistakes, because if we want to create smart cities, first we should think about ourselves, about our lives. And the main point of smart city is about buildings. It's about infrastructure and new tools and gadgets. And of course, I can share with you that there are, for example, 4 pillars: the comprehensive development institutional. It's about physical effect, social effect, and economic infrastructure. So, social effects, for example, I want to share about this, that all of you knows about earthquake in Turkey and Syria, what happened on the 6th of February on the previous week. So, of course, it's a big disaster that just or kills a lot of, like 2,000 people were killed when an earthquake struck central Turkey and northwest Syria. And so it happens. The first one, it's mistake about people who just build these buildings in not a good way. So we see this point. But if it happens, not, for example, I live in Almaty, it's so also it's very dangerous place for living, because we are living near mountains and the ground is the same as in Turkey, for example. Some many years ago we just had the same earthquake, but it was the close 8 or 9 quake. And so I think that all buildings, they will just, I think they will survive then the new one. It depends on how they were built. So the main point that we should know what to do before earthquake. It's about create earthquake safety plan for you and loved ones, including pets. So the main points, if you have cat or dog, of course you should pay attention what your favorite pets are doing. Of course, they are every time they are crying and pay attention what's happening after 1 or 2 hours. So the second one is about identifying safe places in each room of your home. Practice drop, cover, and hold, and also make of purchase and earthquake safety kits. The fifth one is about find out if your home is in need of earthquake retrofitting and eligible for a grant. And identify and fix potential earthquake hazards in your home. Protect your home investments and bounce back from a devastating earthquake with the best choice of earthquake insurance from CA. And be ready that whatever will happen, that you should protect yourself and your children or your relatives with whom you are living or sitting. If you are, for example, in these moments, you are sitting in the office. So next, it's that I want to share about how do you survive an earthquake? It's about like shaking the earthquakes by shifting your rock beneath of Earth's surface, and of course practicing drops, cover and hold on. Be ready, and of course you should have a plan B in any case. What will happen? Okay, so it's a little bit information. That's what happens, and hope that we will be in the safe place in any situation. So the smart city, it means that when we are speaking about how the buildings are staying now and how we are making our life easier to live, and of course how to stay in the safe places is the main roles of this. And the next I want to share about the introduction of tourist and sensitive areas that can be detrimental, or for example of our how to invite and create new jobs for this kind of sector. The main, it's about how to have the new challenge of creating new jobs. It's to create the specific apps and on the platforms and using in the mobile phones when people can find each other, and how they can use, for example, one of it's about LinkedIn. I think that all of you knows this kind of social media where you can find out an experts and people with whom you can communicate and who will help you to find this kind of job that you really need. And the next that I want to share is about how smart cities will be more like favorite places for tourists and other people who are just like traveling. So the first one is about social developments, goodwill of country, infrastructure, and sovereignty. It was the first part that I've just spoke about before. And the second part is about design thinking session. It's about working on business plans with experts, and workplaces. It's about when we are involved in some kind of programs. It may be governmental or private programs where you can take a part and, of course, play the main aspect how to use exchange programs, and also traveling not only to grow up your entertainment skills. Of course, you should grow up your professional skills. So the new challenge, the next one, new challenge of 2023, it will be pay attention on scientific tourism. Scientific tourism is a new direction. For example, when you are, of course, all of you just saw a lot of films, how a lot of scientists are traveling, just trying to find something. It's so interesting, but it's also happening in our life when the group of scientists are traveling, not visiting only, for example, conferences, seminars. Of course, they are writing articles, but in other case, they are doing not only experiments. If it is biology sphere, they are using also their skills and knowledge. For example, they are hiking and they are doing on it and making their research, not only sitting in the laboratory, they're making the research when they travel. So when you combine these kind of things, scientific work, and you are like a good traveler, it will be a best mix how you can promote and develop your professional skills also. So the next one I want to share that the main priorities for development of innovation management in the field of tourism, it's about analysis of tourism development in Kazakhstan. It's also the second one, it's about consider the digital literacy of the population to use the gadgets, for example, or mobile applications. The third one, when we using specific tools, for example, one of it's about smart PLS that I've just used in my research. And also in economic sphere, it's about Stata, it's about SPSS and other things. So the fourth is the main priorities that you can use. It's about proposed methods, how you can improve this area of your research. And the fifth one is about analysis of competitors among tourist products in the market and compile the report for this. For example, on the real case, what I just worked before, and as there in the beginning of the session, just mentioned about that I'm working on the project about modernization tourism in Kazakhstan, about QR codes, mobile application. I can share also with this a little bit research points and how I just wrote and published this kind of article with my supervisor. So the first one is about the market share position in tourism sector. I just made a survey and asked a lot of people how they're just involved in digital tourism and why it's so important nowadays. Why it's better to use, for example, smartphone beside they want to go and see it. Most of them, a lot of people now living in the digital world answer that it's easier to use smartphones, applications like mobile applications to book hotel, for example, to visit place it's online, and after that offline. Maybe they will economy the money, they will economy their time before they will go to this place in real life. So it was so interesting to understand that digital tourism is more effective than in real life. It was survey during 2022 and 2029. Oh, sorry, 2021. So during these 2 years, I just asked 400 respondents in Almaty city who give this kind of positive answer about digital tools. And so it's the information about the previous year that there are 2.1 million new tourists who just it's like the new direction of tourism destination. And there are 20 new projects in new points in tourism sector. And how this kind of problem just really changed. Because, for example, I wrote my dissertation topic before in 2018, and now in 2023. So it's a big difference when nobody just believed in digital tourism, in mobile applications. They just say, "Are you crazy? What are you doing? Is it real fact?" So now I see that's how their like point of view of each person who just really changed, and now they prefer digital tourism neither on real tourism. So about tourism cards, it's a new platform that we've just created in Kazakhstan, and they hope that this kind of platform will be so popular as Booking.com. I think that's a lot of followers and who are just sitting here and watching us. I think they using Booking.com or another one applications where you can book hotel, where you can book restaurant or book a place, for example, in interesting study tour or something like this. So it will be one of the applications which will be like a guide for not only, it will be a guide for foreigners also who will come to us and not check everything and interesting places not in the Google. They can use this kind of app, and of course they will try to find not only interesting places, they will try to find specific private organizations in tourism sector. It's about the structure of tourists. For example, it's about the survey that I just sent. Before, it's the statistics about what's happened in 2018, that there were a lot of people who just go out from our country. It's statistics about Kazakhstan, how tourists are just going inside and outside. But according the real situations and what's happened nowadays, all of us noticed that there are a lot of tourists from different countries just coming back to Kazakhstan again. And now the population just grow up. It was 18 million people, but now it's near 20 million people who are just now living in Kazakhstan. So it's a real big fact that near 1.5% of people who just coming back, and of course the tourism effect just really changed. And so the next, it's about short information about the project modernization of digital tourism. If you are interested in it, please use our app Tourism Cast. You can find it in our app store, or if you use Samsung, you can also can find this kind of app and download and try to use it. So it's one of the schemes of the relationship between the main components of tourism cluster. The first, that of course I just noticed it's one of the big problems when I just make my research, that private organizations and government organizations, they work separately. I don't know why, but if they just combine and work together, there will be the great mix how tourism sector will grow up, and of course it will be the big opportunity to the whole country how to develop tourism segments. I just asked separately, of course, private small organizations who are just working with guides with about tickets, travel tickets, and other things. I think that all of you notice this kind of private small organizations. And also I just went to a big association of tourism in Kazakhstan, who just make the statistical research and also things, the marketing analysis they are also doing. And I just see how they are so different, and it's a big like opportunity and decision to create this kind of platform that all of these small organizations and big organizations like associations and group of tourism segments, they will work together. So the main result, how we can collaborate and make the opportunity in a real life, and it will really work. We should work together and collaborate with each other. I just visited one online event. It was happened in the previous year. The group of experts, most of them were from Europe. They had just organized events in UK, and the main result of this dialogue was that they want to create one big platform where, for example, on the first stage, there will be 3 and 4 countries who will share with their these kind of platforms. For example, we are creating now platform in Kazakhstan, and also they are creating the platform in UK, creating platform in Spain, in France. And so in the future, it will be a result that they will work all together on one big platform. It was so surprisingly for a lot of people who just sit there in the conference. But the main result they will see, but they just noticed after 5-7 years, you will see the result, how it will be so impactful, and it will be so great to a lot of people around the world to understand this kind of platform, how it works. So now they are working on it. I think that it will take 2-3 hours to 2-3 years to create the main final version. So the next I also want to share it's like our prototype about mobile app. You can also see it, and I also want to add about some kind of points about outcomes of the country, like for example, how it will be so impactful. The first one is about cultural and innovation effects on the society. The secondly, it's about insufficient level of development of entrepreneurship prevents of the increase of innovative activity in the country. The third one, it's about weak demand is a key factor holding back innovation in the country. And the last one, just additional information about COVID, just markedly changed the current situation, which led a sharp jump in the development of domestic rather than foreign tourism. And so it's really just reflects on the indicators of economic growth and the share of GDP of the country. The next, I want to just make some kind of final remarks about the tourism specifically mentioned of 3 of the goals of SDG goals. It's about SDG 9, 11, and of course, I think that it's covering SDG 4 also. Because we are also promoting sustained, inclusive, educational, and innovative segments. Of course, we are speaking about innovation challenges, we are speaking about traveling. Also, we are covering big segments of economy and implement policies to promote sustainable tourism that creates jobs, and also will be so helpful to understand how the other segments are working on. And so in this way, I'm just finishing my presentation, but if you have any questions, I will be so open to everyone, and hope that you just got some kind of useful information from my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maya. It has been very helpful. And yes, smart cities is the future, not only for us, but for the new generation coming. I think it's part of their living style to have a smart city, let's say. Thank you very much for your contribution. And that is all from us for now.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay,
Be
thank
safe.
you so much. Okay, see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Study Box.